Hello, this is old Mr. Kent of MrKent.com, and I'm taking off here so I can go over across the Circle Irrigation there, and there's a housing project that I've been following. Last time I looked, they hadn't been doing anything for a long time, so I thought, well, maybe they're doing something. And this is early in the morning, and I get really tired of my Air2S switching by its own while I'm sleeping. It switches to FPV, and I don't know that when I take off, so then I have to fix it. So anyway, we'll just head on over there, and we'll do some other things too. And if you're not familiar with my channel, I am 80 years old this year, and I've been telling stories of my life that I found interesting and sharing the stories. And in my last video, I told about how when I graduated from college, I got in the middle of the year, I was trained to be a teacher, but there were no jobs that I wanted. So I went to work at Boeing, starting in January of 1965. And then by the end of summer of 1965, I needed to find a teaching job. So as I got into April, May, June, July, I sent a letter to the placement. By the way, back then there was no phone, no email, no internet, and nothing. I mean, it was just, you wrote a letter, and so I sent a letter to the placement office and asked them for a list of teaching jobs somewhere nearby. And they sent me a list, and I found two that looked kind of interesting. One of them was in Pasco, Washington, which is in the southwest corner of Washington. Actually, it's in eastern Washington, in the south end. Okay, so anyway, and then the other one was in Kitimat, Canada, and I had never heard of Kitimat, Canada, and so that I was interested in. So I sent them a letter of interest, and I sent one to Pasco and told them I was interested. And so Kitimat, boy, they were quick. They mailed me all the information I needed, an application and everything that I needed if I wanted to move to Canada to work. And so that came faster than I expected. And so, and I had a wife and a little boy, 1 year old or so. And so we didn't really want to move to Canada, but it looked like a nice job because Kitimat, I found a map that showed Kitimat in British Columbia, and it was at the end of a fjord that came in off of the ocean, Pacific Ocean, and it looked kind of interesting. And I grew up around water and boats, and I just love boats and stuff, so I thought, well, that'd be kind of fun. And so I filled out all the information and sent it in. And then you remember we had no way of finding out actually where Kitimat, Canada was. And so we went down to the waterfront. We started looking for a boat that we could live on, because I thought that'd be really fun, be on the water, live on the boat, and anytime we wanted to go out in the fjord and put around and just have, and live on the boat. And so we actually went down to the waterfront, and we looked at several boats. Now remember, we were young and foolish, and I don't know how we would have ever been able to afford a boat that was good enough to live on, let alone one that was good enough to go all the way up to Kitimat, Canada. But we didn't know how far away it was, because you remember, there was no Google Earth. And so you found a map, and a map of something at the library or maybe in an encyclopedia. And that's how things were done back then. And so we went down and we looked at all kinds of boats that you could live on, and we found this one which was really interesting. It was an old landing craft from World War II, and this was in the 60s, and it had been converted into a boat that you could live on. It had, everything you needed to live on it. And so we're kind of interested in that, because that was the cheapest one, by the way, naturally. And we looked at other boats too, and so we really got serious about moving to Kitimat, Canada. even though we didn't really know how far away it was. Now, I'm going to add some pictures in here and to show you what Kitimat, Canada actually looked like now that we have Google Earth. Okay, so so here's Kitimat, Canada, and that's at the end of the fjord. And as you can see, it's just a small community, and so that was what we what we were looking for. Now this is Google Earth, okay? And then if you look on Google Earth, the distance from Seattle up to Kitimat, Canada, is 613 miles, I think. And we're going to take that worn-out boat, and we're going to we're going to live on it after we get to Canada. And just the fjord, the length of the fjord from the ocean to Kitimat, it was, I think it's 115 miles or something like that. And so I don't think that boat would have been able to go 115 miles. I don't know where we would have refueled on the way. And that's the whole community of Kitimat, because you notice north of where I showed, this is today. There's some living area up there. And so that was our plan. We were going to go to Canada and work and buy a boat and go up there. Well, so anyway, as it turned out, we got notice from Pasco that they would like us to come interview. And so we decided, well, we probably should check that out. And so we packed up and drove over to over the mountains to eastern Washington, and followed the highway down to Pasco. And it was really, really nice and warm in Pasco. So anyway, so we decided, well, that's kind of nice. Now, if you looked at the Google Earth pictures of Kitimat, there was snow on the top of the mountains. So I did the interview with them, and they gave us a tour of the school. Now, I had worked as a janitor in the Seattle area where there's no dust, but in Pasco, it's kind of like Arizona in some ways, because in Pasco there's lots and lots of dust. And so it had been the drafting room that they showed me had been sitting there all summer long, and we went in there, and I ran my hand across the top of the desk because it looked dusty, and definitely it was dusty. and so anyway, and they liked me really well. They thought, I could probably fit in right there really well. And so we decided that that's what we would do. And so I responded, or I told Kitimat by letter that we weren't going to move up there. And so that was our plan. And so as time went on, it was time for me to quit Boeing. And at Boeing, every time you went out the gate, you had to open your lunchbox and show that you weren't stealing tools. And I did that every day, as I went out the gate. Well, on my last day, I had purchased a drafting machine, which was like 3 feet long or longer when it was all folded up, and I had it in the box that came in. And I also wanted to keep some drawings of some of the things I did, so I had them print me off some drawings, which was illegal to take out of Boeing. So I put them in the bottom of the box and put a bunch of other stuff on top of them. And when I left Boeing, and I had to go through the gate, I had to open my lunchbox, and then I had to open the other box. And he says, "Oh, it must be your last day." And I said, "Yeah." "Okay, well, good luck, And so I shut it down. And he never noticed the drawings in the bottom. So that turned out well. Anyway, and so when I got to Pasco, actually what happened was, when we moved to Pasco, we had gone over there early and found a place to rent. And then when we actually went home, got the moving van and all that kind of stuff, and we got back, they had turned on the water, the realtor had, and the house was flooded. So the first day in Pasco, we spent looking for a different house to live in. But anyway, that's my story of finding a job that was not in Kitimat, Canada. And I'm kind of glad we didn't go up there, because I don't think that I would have found that I liked it once I got there. So anyway, here I come home. I want to thank you for watching my videos, and God bless.